morning, children. Hope you all are safe by God's grace, and I pray for your protection. Shall we move on to the next topic in principles of ecology? We completed ecology, ecological factors, and we learnt few subheadings from ecological adaptations. Okay, so we will today complete ecological adaptations and also learn about dispersal of seeds and fruits. So in the previous class, we learnt about hydrophytes. What are hydrophytes? Hydrophytes are plants that grow in wet places or in the water, and we have several divisions: free floating, submerged, rooted, and other types. Okay, then we learnt about the xerophytes. Xerophytes are plants that grow in dry, xeric place. Yes, okay. So we had ephemerals, then we learnt about succulent and non-succulent plants under xerophytes. Then about the mesophytes. Mesophytes are plants that grow in moderate temperature, that is the normal land plants. Okay, so epiphytes. Epiphytes we have already learnt in biotic factors also. Epiphytes are plants which are perched on the supporting plant, and they use the supporting plant only as a shelter and not for food and water supply. And these type of plants are seen mostly in tropical rainforest. Okay, so and examples for that are orchids, hanging mosses, and money plants. Right. So under epiphytes, the morphological adaptations. What are the and anatomical adaptations and physiological adaptations of these plants we will see in detail. The root system is extensively developed in epiphytes, and there are two types of root systems: the clinging root system and the aerial root system. The clinging root system is its purpose is to fix the epiphytes firmly on the surface of the supporting plant, and the aerial root system, they are green colored and they hang downwardly. They absorb the moisture with the help of velamen. Velamen are the spongy tissues. Okay, and they also develop succulent and they are succulent and they develop pseudo bulbs. The leaves in the epiphytes are lesser in number. They are fleshy and leathery. Okay. Myrmecophily is to prevent the predators. In the acacia plant, the ants, they protect the plant. In turn, they get food and shelter from the plant. Okay. So epiphytes also have this kind of morphological adaptation, and the fruits are small, the seeds are small, and they are easily dispersed by wind, insects, and birds. So about the anatomical adaptations in epiphytes, look at the picture carefully. The epiphytes are have multi-layered epidermis. They have a thick cuticle, and the sunken stomata that it has helps to reduce transpiration. Okay, transpiration, we have talked about that already. The succulent epiphyte, it stores water in itself. Then the physiological adaptations, if you so special absorption processes is done by the velamen tissues in the epiphytes. What is this? Halophytes. And look at the picture. What are halophytes? Halophytic plants grow on soils with high concentration of salts. So where do we have salt water? In the sea. So these type of plants are found in the seashores. Okay. So, the plants, they are physically wet but they are physiologically dry. Okay, so these plants cannot use the salt water directly. They will have to filter the salt in it. So their filtration of salt is done using a physiological process. And this type of vegetation is called as mangrove forest. And these plants are called as mangroves. About the morphological adaptations in halophytes. The temperate halophytes, they are herbaceous, but the tropical halophytes are bushy and they have normal roots, and many stilt roots are also developed in these plants. Negatively geotrophic roots called as pneumatophores with the nematodes are present to get sufficient aeration. So these are called as breathing roots. An example for that is the Avicennia, and they have thick cuticle on the aerial parts of the plant body, thick cuticle, and the leaves in these plants, they are thick, they are entire, succulent, and they are also glossy. Okay, and these plants have vivipary mode of seed germination. Then we will learn about the anatomical adaptations in halophytes. What are the epidermal cells of the stem is heavy, cutinized, filled with oils and tannins. And the physiological adaptations, they have high osmotic pressure in some plants, and then we see that seeds germinate in the fruits of mother plant itself. Seeds germinate in the fruits of mother plant itself, which is called as vivipary. Look at the fruits and the seeds. They both possess bright, attractive colors and the order, their shape. Why do they need all this? They need all this because the seeds and the fruits need to be dispersed by birds, mammals, reptiles, ants, fish, and even earthworms. So they attract the birds and animals so that they will disperse the seeds. If you look at the seed, it consists of an embryo, okay, and then it also has stored food material in it, and then it is covered by the seed coat. The seeds, though they are very small, they are dormant future plants. So the dispersal of seeds is a very important criterion here. They have to be distributed to a wide geographical area. The dissemination of the seeds and the fruits, to various distances from the parent plant to various distances is called as seed and fruit dispersal. Okay, so to disperse the seeds, ecological factors like wind, water, and animals are important. Wind, water, and animals are important for the dispersal of seeds. If you understand that seed dispersal is a regeneration process. What do you mean by regeneration? It is the renewal or restoration of the plant population. and colonizing new areas. Why should they colonize new areas? To avoid seedling level competition. And then natural enemies like herbivores, frugivores. What are frugivores? They are any type of herbivore or omnivore where the animal prefers fruit as the preferred type of food, and then the pathogens. So they need to protect themselves from herbivores, frugivores and pathogens. Okay, so an ecologically favorable condition is needed. The environment has to be suitable. The seasonal availability of the dispersal agents. The dispersal agents have to be available. Okay, and the agents are very important for migration of the seeds. They have to move across their habitats to spread the plant's genetic diversity. Understand that the dispersal of seed is very important, and there are different ways in which the seed is being dispersed. In that, the first type is the dispersal by wind, which is also called as anemochory. And in anemochory, the individual seed or sometimes even the whole fruit has to be modified to help the dispersal by wind, and this happens commonly in tall trees. Okay, so what are the adaptations of the wind dispersal plants? What are the adaptations? The seeds are minute. Okay, they are very small and they are light in weight and they have an inflated covering. Okay, that is one adaptation. An example for that is orchids. The next one is the wings. Another adaptation. The seed or the whole fruit are flattened to form a wing. Example for that is maple. And we then have the feathery appendages. In seeds or fruits, the feathery appendage is used to increase the buoyancy to disperse to high altitudes. Okay, so Vernonia is an example for that. And then we also see about the sensor mechanisms in seeds. Fruits open in such a way that the seeds can open only when the fruit is violently shaken by a strong wind. An example is the poppy seed. Okay. The next type of dispersal of seed is by water. By water, then it is also called as hydrochory. Hydrochory. And what are the adaptations of hydrochory? Okay. So, upconical receptacle. That is a genus of the water lilies with prominent air spaces. Example, Nelumbu. Okay. And then the second one is presence of fibrous mesocarp and light pericarp, as we see in the coconut. Okay. Seeds are light, small. They are provided with aril, extra seed covering, or a hairy or fleshy covering which encloses air. And an example for that is nymphia. Then the fruits may be inflated. Inflated means they are expanded to an abnormal volume. Okay, like we then have the seeds by themselves. If they are not able to float on the water, they can be carried by the water current. As you see in this picture, coconut is an example. It is taken from away from the parent plant. The third type of dispersal is by animals, which is also called as zoochory. Here, the birds and the mammals and sometimes even the human beings have the devices which help the dispersal of seeds. So what are those devices? The hooked fruit. The surface of the seed, fruits or the seed have hooks in them like the xanthanium. They may have barbs like as we see in the andropogon, or they may have spines as in Aristidia. These adhere to the body of the animals or clothes of the human beings, and they get dispersed to different places. Sticky fruits and seeds. What do we learn from that? In some fruits, they have sticky glandular hairs which adhere to the fur of the grazing animals. I am sure you would have played with such seeds in the garden or in the grass, where it sticks on to the clothes of human beings also. And what happens? Some fruits have viscid layer which adhere to the beak of the birds which eat them. Okay, and when they rub them on the branches of the trees, they disperse and germinate. An example for that is cordia. Okay, thirdly we have fleshy fruits with conspicuous colors. They are dispersed by human beings to distant places after consumption. After we eat, we just throw them at different places. We have completed learning about anemochory, which is dispersal by wind, then hydrochory, which is dispersal by water, and zoochory, which is dispersal by animals. Fourthly, it is dispersal by explosive mechanism, which is also called as autochory. What is autochory? When we touch some plants, they explode. The ripened fruit explodes, throwing the seeds with great force, as we see in balsam. And then when in some seeds of fruits, when they come in contact with water, as soon as water touches it, the seed or the fruit bursts and scatters with a noise, as we see in Crossandra. And then long pods which explode with a loud noise like that of crackers is also seen there. High turgor pressure develops. When does it develop? When the fruit matures, the tissues around the seeds are converted into a mucilaginous fluid, and due to this, a high turgor pressure develops inside the seed, which leads to the dispersal of the seeds. Okay, now the next one is about the human aided dispersal. What do you see here? These are called as seed balls. Okay, seed balls is an ancient Japanese method where the seed is in a mixture of clay and soil humus. Also in cow dung, they make balls out of it and scatter them in suitable grounds. They are not planting the trees manually, but they are scattered, especially in barren and degraded lands. Okay, and this is done before the monsoon, and it becomes suitable dispersal agents become rare the time this type of seed dispersal is also done. Okay, so if we can recall what is attilochory. What is attilochory? The process where dispersal of plant seed is inhibited. And autochory, as we learnt, achory or autochory is self-dispersal of seeds, often explosive discharge of seeds from the fruit.
So children, in today's class, we learnt about epiphytes, halophytes and dispersal of fruits and seeds by various agents. So I hope you understood that fruits and seed dispersal act as a key for proper functioning and establishment of many ecosystems from deserts to evergreen forests, and also for the maintenance of biodiversity conservation and restoration of ecosystems. Okay children, read through the pages in the textbook and write the answers for the test in your 120 long size unruled biology notebook. Learn well, happy learning, be safe, stay healthy. Thank you.